right, we are not live. We are recording with the Metal Lab because live issues existed this particular week, and I swear to God, I take 1 week off, everything falls apart. So I'm joined this week by Jay. How you doing, Jay?
Would be better if this wasn't the most improv thing ever, but otherwise fine.
I mean, do we ever not improv this show?
I guess since it's on a live show, sure, I'll allow it.
Yeah, basically the flow will be just like our live show, except we won't have live questions, obviously, because things happened. So Jay, we've been off since Labor Day. You went to Gen Con. How was that?
It was fun because I got to judge HeroClix, which is always fun, and I placed top 4 at the regional that I got to play. I played Kobik Trader, Unseen, Groot, Suited Henchman, Q Prime at 30. I almost always went with the Blue Cube and the Reality Gem. I had 5 student IDs. I had Gene, Chamber, Iceman, Gene, Chamber, Cyclops, All New Wolverine, Rusty. And I never used Chamber. I don't know what I would have used instead. Maybe Jubilee, maybe Beast. I don't know. But Regenesis happened, so it doesn't matter. Basically, the important conclusions I walked away with were Q good. Obviously, at its current price tag, it's a little crazy. But I don't think using the Prime slot right now is that bad unless you're playing a Vulture build. Like, the only other options, basically, for playing Brutex on the sideline. At least until Cyclops Cyclops Rare Prime comes out. Then it's a totally different story. But right now, basically, in the Cosmic Mirror, if you roll the D6 with Q's trait, you're either making your opponent auto-miss Super Senses, because everybody has Super Senses, or you're auto-hitting yours. More prob is good. And the teleport power to call in Fast Forces Rusty is awesome, because I love Fast Forces Rusty more than any other HeroClix space, apparently. But otherwise, it was stock Kobik, and I lost 2 games to Dan Powell playing Unimind, which nobody should be ashamed of, so at least that's what I'll tell myself. So, and then I played casual Starfleet 500-point fun stuff, and then Colossal AI Hulk Rugby because he had Quake, and then I beat Devin, so that's something, I guess. It was fun. Starfleet is very, very fun, specifically the newest TNG stuff.
Devin went down to Gen Con too?
No, I meant in the casual. Sorry.
Sorry.
No.
Gotcha.
Devin was not there. Emily was, but...
Overall, Gen Con a good time. Back when I used to go for Magic, it was very crowded, and apparently it got even more crowded, so I don't know.
Oh, yeah, just walking anywhere was impossible. I didn't have much hall time because the only time I had off, I was just hanging out with HeroClix people I don't get to see otherwise very much. Maybe playing a couple Battle Royales, but it was very fun in the HeroClix area.
All right, awesome. Since we've last had an episode, I got a chance to judge another Regenesis event. Our daughter actually played in Regenesis as well. I think we're all stocked up for Regenesis as far as Worlds is concerned, which is good because every time I talk about it, I realize how much closer it is. Because it's a couple weeks away now, like 3 weeks away, 4 weeks away to Worlds. It's too close. It's too close, and I'm getting more and more terrified. But since last week, we have been absolutely bombarded. Since for the past 2 weeks, we've been absolutely bombarded with previews. So we're just gonna go preview happy here, guys. It's something else to say the least. So we're just gonna get that all in there, and we're gonna start with a can of whoop ass, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Rattlesnake himself. By God. We have, he's got this WWE and celebrity keyword. Hey, we were right about the celebrity keyword. His signature move, the Stone Cold Stunner. It is close with knockback. I guess if The Rock is getting hit with the Stone Cold Stunner, wrestling fans know what I'm talking about. If Stone Cold Steve Austin has 1 action token, make a close attack. If he hits after resolutions, choose one. Give a hit target an action token, or remove an action token from Stone Cold Steve Austin so he can keep just dropping those stunners on people. He's got a special movement power on his first click at 80 points or his first click at 50 points. Vehicular Assault Charge. When Stone Cold Steve Austin uses it, you may choose to not have a speed. If you do, he has ignores characters, ignores hindering, and modifies damage +1, but can only move in a direct path. He's got a couple clicks of Slam, named the Luthez Press. Those of you who know it know what it is. He's got the Texas Cloverleaf as his submission hold power. Kick to the gut in the middle there, usually lead up to the stunner. Everything else is powers we're familiar with. 80 or 50 points with WWE team ability or the WWE rules, etc., etc., etc. Jay, what do you think of Stone Cold Steve Austin? You're muted still, Jay.
It's not easy to say how good he is because I don't actually know how many of these powers are known. I just really can't remember. And even the ones that we do know, I just can't remember because it's a whole new world. But just with the WWE can't be shot, 50 is probably maybe okay. All this is assuming that you're not talking about a Kovic world where Kovic just takes away WWE team ability and you just get shot. Yeah, I'd probably fine at both point values unless the powers are just really not good. I just don't know. But the charge is pretty good. Obviously, being able to attack every single turn is good. That's obviously good. And also, you can totally combo his full movement charge and the stunner. So that's going to be a thing that is done. If he's going to be a vehicle, I wish they would have given him some sort of carry. That would have been pretty funny. But I guess
it's usually been a Zamboni.
Yeah, I was going to say, who you carry Zamboni, so it's fair. But definitely looks fun. I'm not going to argue with the fun factor.
Or a beer truck. You don't really get passengers in a beer truck. There was something about the WWE rules that had like free movement out of the starting area or something like that,
right?
Yeah,
your first turn you get a free move.
So you've got a 16-move charge on this guy. Just 8 squares have to be in a straight line.
Oof.
That's Rattlesnake is coming, ladies and gentlemen. He's gonna get you. By God, Austin's here. I love him. I love him a lot. And the fact that I was reading up on the rules that we do know, and the fact that he can't be shot, it's not just like on click 1, but it's also on any orange clicks if he's not on click 1. And if you actually look at this card, orange clicks are 1 to 6, which is bonkers. Yeah, I'm the more and more of these guys I start to see, the more and more I fall in love, and the more excited I get. Especially when you include the next one. So the Stone Cold's a little taste of the 90s. We move next. Oh, that didn't work the way I thought it would. To a little taste of the modern era. Not even the modern era. Tomorrow with Asuka, the Empress of Tomorrow. She's WWE Future because she's the Empress of Tomorrow, and martial artist keyword, not celebrity, oddly enough. Her signature move, the flying hip attack. Hip, we all know what she uses. If Asuka has 1 action token, lightning speed. When she uses it, if she moves only in a direct path and then hits, modified damage +1 for each square she moved through. So we don't know what lightning speed is, but I feel like there's going to be some kind of move and attack element to it. Almost feels like hypersonic with close attacks, maybe, possibly. I don't know. I'm guessing. I don't know. But her trait, no one is ready for Asuka. When Asuka KOs an opposing character, choose a combat value that she has not chosen for this ability this game, and modify it +1 for the rest of the game. If she has already chosen 4 combat values, heal her 2 clicks instead. She can't be healed above her starting line. And then she's got a special attack power on everything but her first 2 clicks on the 80-point value. She has 80 or 40 points in her case. The Asuka Lock, a submission hold. When Asuka uses it, increase damage dealt by +1 for each Asuka Lock token the target has. And after resolutions, give her target an Asuka Lock token, maximum 2. When a character hits Asuka, remove their Asuka Lock tokens. And then for 3 clicks after the first one, she's got Nimble, which is just sidestep with a +2 breakaway for 1 square that ignores hindering, I believe. I don't think that really matters when it comes down to it. She's Indomitable, double WWE team ability, 2 great point values. I love Asuka, and I want to see more characters like this. Everything about the WWE figures is really starting to look like a lot of fun and really good. And I like the fact that the longer that Asuka has you in the Asuka Lock, the harder it hits and does damage. So I think that's really cool. Jay, what do you think of Asuka?
Yeah, I think you're right. Nimble is improvement in hindering, breakaway +2, and then free move up to 1 square.
Yeah.
So Um,
Oh, it's static ignore hindering terrain?
yeah, static ignore
Whoa.
hindering, static breakaway +2,
That's amazing.
and half sidestep. Yeah, very interesting. If we knew what lightning speed did, I did look it up, and we do not know what lightning speed is, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm assuming it's some sort of hypersonic modified for actual human beings. She does look very interesting. I'm not sure how she'll fare in competitive. Just because I don't know how often she's KOing characters just with her combat values as is.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess at her lower point line with the exploit and 40 points can call in the new good Regenesis stuff, and she starts with a submission hold. Yeah, I think she can be good at the lower points, probably, although she loses her can't be outwitted shot immunity after one click. But I do think there could be some potential. I just don't know if future's a good keyword right now, but maybe WWE will be, so who knows?
I don't know how many are going to be a future keyword as well, as far as that. Maybe a lot of NXT guys are going to be. All right. Next up, we now step into the X-Men world of previews. There's been a lot of X-Men previews since our last episode, so some of you might have heard some others from some other channels. We'll do our best to go through it as fast as we can, but there's a lot to take in here, including Mr. Harry Leland. Good to see him back, and good to see him work similar but different to what he used to be. His first trait, hard to move hero. Opposing characters within 4 squares modify their attack and damage by -2 if they have moved this turn. The next part of that is opposing characters can't be placed from anywhere else on the map within 4 squares of Harry Leland. And then Inner Circle Club Black Bishop. Outwit, but only to choose a black power or a special power. When Harry Leland KOs a higher point character after resolutions, remove all action tokens from him and heal him 2 clicks. So what you see is what you get dialed for 50 points with 4 range, 2 targets, a little bit of incapacitate, a lot of empower. Jay, what are your thoughts on Harry Leland?
I mean, just the trade alone makes him at least one of those characters that doesn't necessarily see play, but you can't not consider. You know what I mean? Like the sort of copycat effect where it is an effect that exists, so you can't just blindly build an all giant girls team to retail 1,000,000 times sort of thing. His actual dial is good enough and survivable enough, I guess. Like, it's just long enough that he hopefully doesn't get killed, has good defense values in the stealth, and it's all good. Power is fine. Just enough points to call and stuff. The outwit is useful. He's never KOing a character. As far as I'm concerned, he just has the trait and can call and stuff and will just not die just easily enough. And if you're going off theme, I mean, if you're playing a Vulture team, you're not theme as it is, and you're worried about the mirror, and that just solves that problem for you. It can affect retail. Affect any sort of charging, so those Wolverines are not going to be able to hit as easily. Maybe Hellfire Club becomes playable eventually. The Redial Black King is certainly not bad. Tri-Sentinels or Hellfire Club, maybe eventually, but regardless, I think he at least matters just for existing. So
yeah, and there's other ways you could use him. I've been thinking of using. There's a couple of characters. We'll see one I think maybe a little later, where they can't be seen from a certain distance, and Harry Leland kind of extends that distance where it's like now you just can't get there sort of situation, or you're near here and you're going to be useless at that distance. It's not 100% of the time all the time, but I think there's an effective aura to him, and while he loses out with the Hellfire Club keyword being part of his limitation as far as the theme team, if we do start to push away from theme teams again, I don't know if we will be, but if we do, Harry Leland is going to see himself kind of make some noise. It might not be now, but it could be a future team that uses him. All right, next up we have the Cyclops Sentinel. So he's got the Sentinel, X-Men, and Robot keywords. Prime Directive is the trait. At the beginning of your turn, Cyclops Sentinel may move one square. If an opposing character with the X-Men or Brotherhood of Mutants keywords is on the map, they may move one additional square. Decapitation is irrelevant. Is his second trait. Once per game, when Cyclops Sentinel takes damage from an opponent's attack, after resolutions generate a Sentinel head bystander, and Cyclops Sentinel can't make range attacks for the rest of the game. Then he's got a special attack, which he's got intermittent throughout the entire dial, but at least every single starting click seems to have it. Enormous optical beams, penetrating psychic blast when Cyclops Sentinel uses it and hits. After resolutions, choose one to affect a hit character and all opposing characters adjacent to it. Deal them each one penetrating damage, or give them each an action token, or knock them back each 6 squares. And he's also got ignores blocking, blows through it for line of fire. And then the Sentinel head that you create is... So it's got a special defense power that says it can't be KO'd except by a critical hit. And Sentinel head can't be chosen for Mastermind. And it's got Sidestep and Psychic Blast with 0 movement, but an 8 range. What do you make of this here, Jay, this whole thing?
I feel like, if anything, the 50-point line is the only relevant one. Probably thinking that the only way this is ever playable is on a robot theme team, either with Isaac for barrier or a Beta Ray build, so it just doesn't get shot and will get the first attack in. Hopefully. Like, the attack power is obviously good, especially because you don't need to hit the adjacent characters that get essentially splashed onto. Like, just hit the one character and then just deal some penetrating. Sentinel, like, could be a keyword, I guess, with try Sentinels, but I guess at that point you almost may as well do Robot. Although X-Men's not bad either. It's not immediately great, but definitely something to be considered in the future with very decent keywords. I don't... Or I guess you would, because it's a triggered effect, so you would still drop the head even if the dude's KO'd, because you still like trigger stuff. I'm 99% sure. So even if this guy dies, you still get the pretty strong Pog, which they'll have to like dedicate an attack, or if the Sentinel's still on the map, you'll have to, add with the defense power and KO. But that's like more work than you should have to put in for a Pog. So
yeah,
I'm not immediately a fan, but yeah, I can definitely see this being a thing eventually.
It's tricksy fun. That's what I like to call it. Tricksy fun. All right. Next up, we have Eugene Torbit Witterspan. Obscure character, obscure name. What the heck is this? This is actually from one episode where the Juggernaut lost his power to some nerd in a comic. Literally, the character was a stereotypical nerd, and just all of a sudden had the powers of the Juggernaut and started using that to his advantage. He's a brute and scientist keywords. He's playable at 200, 150, or 25 points. He's a giant. This is going to be, I believe this is the other side of the Colossus Prime one, which we've already seen.
Yep.
So the first trait, the girls are going to go nuts. Eugene Torbit Witherspan doesn't count against theme teams. I'm saying his entire name whenever I can. Next is a Juggernaut Slam Dancing. Man, honestly, they should have put him in the leisure suit for this. He was so awesome in the leisure suit. It's a special attack power, which he has just about everywhere except for like 3 clicks of the dial. Super strength, Quake. When Eugene Torbit Witherspan uses Quake and hits, until your next turn, characters can't be given actions except move actions. Everything else is what you see is what you get as far as powers that are on the pack. Jay, what do you think of Eugene Torbit Witherspan? E.T. Dubs.
Sure. This is like how many points is he in the middle? Is it 50? Oh, that's too much. You know what? For scientist teams, if you can like pick the right blocking indoor map so he doesn't immediately get shot, honestly, maybe. Just like the threat of his attack power and just like, I don't know, doing cool stuff and just being hard enough to kill for 25 points. I don't know. But otherwise... Oh, but he doesn't... I don't know.
He doesn't what?
He doesn't count against theme teams, but like I don't think he does it enough.
Well, he doesn't count against. It doesn't mean he doesn't count for them.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just saying, like, but then you're like paying 25 points. That's not helping your initiative, which is like not ideal.
Wouldn't it help the initiative though? Because it's not counting against the team, but it is counting in favor of.
No, he just doesn't. You just don't count it at all.
That's weird.
Like, he doesn't gain the keyword.
That's
like
weird.
if it worked that way, he would have just gained the keyword instead.
Well, then he's trash.
I don't know. It's just the sheer threat he provides. I don't know. Like, it's obviously not amazing, but it's hard to completely discount it at all.
It exists. It exists to give the other Juggernaut a figure to be based on.
Yeah, where's regular Juggernaut? That's the question.
All right. Next up. Oh, hey, they snuck this one in there. It's a picture of Graceland, guys. And it's a WizKids World Championship updates and the hotel that we're staying in. But wait, what's this fourth picture in here? Is that Gambit? Hi, Gambit. Now, the resolution is a little wacky on this one, so I'm going to do my best to kind of address this as I can. This is clearly from the Fast Forces, if you look at the icon on it. Figure number 5, he's the X-Men and Spy keyword for Gambit. He is hunted and on the run is the trait. And I feel like this is going to be on a lot of the characters in the Fast Forces. Friendly characters that are adjacent or have the X-Men keyword can use probability control when attacked by giant or colossal characters. A special movement power in his first 3 clicks is Force Blast, Running Shot, and Stealth. He's got some Psychic Blast, some Precision Strike. He's indomitable, comes in at 50 or 70 points. He is X-Men team ability with, I believe that is 6 range with 2 targets. With some enhancement in there. It's generally squishy kind of dude. What do you think? What did you think of the Fast Force Gambit there, Jay?
It's hard to argue with a trait that's global if you just have a specific keyword or just any adjacent character. So just good luck being hit by a retail, essentially. Or, I don't know, what's being played that's giant, that's attacking? I don't know.
Well, the retaliation on the Prime Juggernaut is
that's true.
On a giant.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, it's hard to dislike the high line just because stealth, reflexes is good. There's not as much stealth busting attacking going on. Like, there's certainly stealth busting that's doing stuff, but, like, I don't even know. If X-Men continues to be viable, maybe eventually. I don't know. I think he's basically fine. I don't know if he's. I'm certainly not advocating that you put him on your competitive team as soon as possible, but like, I don't know. It's the kind of dial that just seems like it should be fine.
Yeah,
I guess I would say.
I almost feel like I would include him in a lot of like in some of the ideas I've been trying to brew up with the with trying to bring back the Blackbird, trying to make it happen again. And the idea of being able to attack with impunity and go prob.
Yeah, almost eventually. It reminds me of the common Iron Man from the last set. It's like a dial that you look at and you're like, why? What is the game state like that this is not competitive? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 5 years ago, this would have been amazing.
Yep. I would have been on all teams 5 years ago. Wait, how old is Superman Wonder Woman?
2015.
Yeah, so 4 years ago.
Okay.
For sure. Because everything had colossal retaliation back then.
I mean, it still does.
Yeah, I know, but more so, that was the first introduction, right?
For sure, yeah.
And now we're finding so many different. Anyway,
I'm just more talking the dial, but that's true too.
Yeah. All right. So next, by the way, a lot of these dials are provided by other sites, including Highlander Games, Lucky Dice Games, 2 Clicks from KO, Clickstuff, WizKids, obviously. So I want to thank all of them for sharing these with everybody. Before I continue on, I'm reminded because Pyro is one of the ones from 2 Clicks from KO. We're very close with Aaron and friends over there. All right, so we have Pyro, who's got the Brotherhood of Mutants and the Freedom Force keywords. My mutant brothers and sisters. My mutant brothers and sisters is his trait. Once per turn, when an effect other than clearing removes an action token from Pyro, after resolutions, heal him 1 click. Then he's got a special attack power in his first 3 clicks. Too hot to handle. Energy Explosion, Poison. When Pyro uses Energy Explosion, you may choose that he has 3 targets, or after resolutions, he can use Barrier at no cost. And then he's got a special damage power on everything but his first click. Anyone bring marshmallows? Free, destroy an object within range. Whenever Pyro uses a range destroy action to destroy a piece of blocking terrain. After resolutions, remove an action token from him, subsequently healing him. He's 50 points with the Brotherhood team ability. He is a super rare. He got some running shot. He's not indomitable in this case. There's some late dial pulse wave. What do you think of Pyro J?
This is another one of those, like, this is just a really good dial, but just in the current game, this is just, like, not really suited to be competitive sort of thing. Like, just attacking and doing barrier, even if you don't hit. Energy explosion is really good right now. Destroying objects, healing, removing tokens. Like, everything is good. It just doesn't quite come together to form a competitive dial for this game, unfortunately.
Yeah, and this is one of those things, is like, this feels like a smear on the windshield in the grand scale of the game as the state right now is. So, which is a shame, because I like a lot. Characters are okay to be like this, but when it comes to the competitive game, it's just a shame I won't be able to see him unless there's some certain exceptions that, like, there might be a team he finds himself on, but that team is super protected in some other way, shape, or form. All right. I keep thinking that this is going to do that, and it's not. All right, next up we have Mystique. Brotherhood of Mutants, Freedom Force, Assassin, and Spy. There's a lot going on here, so bear with me. Shapeshifter, which gives her shape change. Free, give a standard opposing character a shapeshift token, removing it from anywhere else. When Mystique uses shape change, if there is a character with her shapeshift token and the attacker doesn't have line of fire to them, she succeeds on a result of 2 to 6. A character always has line of fire to themselves. So that is there to say, if I gave a shapeshift token to, say, Unimind, but Unimind is attacking Mystique, it's not going to work because obviously Unimind has line of fire to Unimind, right? It's kind of what they're laying out on that one. My Mutant Brothers and Sisters trait, and then it's a very stealthy, leadershipy 60-point dial that looks like this.
It's funny that you say 60 points, because at this point, it's Mystique, and it's automatically 60 points.
I think there's only been a few Mystiques that haven't been 60 points. Everything else has been.
Everything since UXM, like the really good one, the last one, and that's modern, and this one. It's just Mystique is 60 points. End of story.
Yep.
You know what? Like, Assassin Spy keywords, maybe Brotherhood and Freedom Force become good. Maybe there's some keyword cheating. I don't know.
That shapeshifter is just so hard to pull off because statistically, most teams will just be next to each other or close enough to each other to have line of fire to each other, and then the
I don't know. Not this.
If I energy exploded you and then barriered after the fact, now you don't have line of fire to the guy.
If it didn't say standard, it would be hilarious because, like, you would just give it to a Leslie Evans or you would give it to a Groot.
That Colossal over there, that's the guy I am.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like, again, this one I feel like more than the others has, like, some potential, maybe, depending on, what the environment looks like. If they just have a suited henchman, like, what are they going to do? Move the suited henchman out and, like, waste actions? I don't know. I would like to see this eventually see some play just because it's obnoxiously hard to deal with and just does just enough sort of thing. And shows Assassin and Spy with wait, does Unseen? No, Unseen has Spy, not Assassin. Yeah, but, like, yeah. With those keywords, I don't know.
Unseen killing?
Well, I was thinking because the old Nick Fury had assassinated him. This one does
that
have
one assassinated your team.
Yeah. But Spy is not a completely dead keyword, so I don't know.
It's finding its way back.
Thanos is a Spy now, so.
Very sneaky Thanos. I will kill you all. Shh! I'm gonna kill them all, though.
Like, I don't know. I'm just looking at Spy now. I feel like there's just enough that it could maybe be a thing. And she's not even out yet. She'll have 2 years to play with some good Spy stuff.
Well, this character has finally moved off of the map and became a character, and that is Krakoa. With the monster keyword, speaking of a lot going on here, we'll start with the trait. The flora needs to feed. Its trait is Steal Energy. Opposing characters that occupy or are adjacent to its hindering terrain markers must break away as if breaking away from Krakoa, and it may target them with a close attack regardless of adjacency. And Tangled Vines is special movement, Flurry, phasing, plasticity. And then it's got Colossal Retaliation on a lot of its damage power clicks. The Living Land, free if no. Now this seems to be the new Colossal Retaliation wording, which I kind of like. It is kind of going back to the whole Colossal Retaliation's going first sort of situation. Free if no friendly character has been placed this turn, choose an opposing character that attacks Krakoa or damage a friendly character since your last turn. Place Krakoa such that it can make a close attack targeting the chosen character, and then do so using Quake at no cost. If you did, after resolutions, generate hindering terrain markers in all squares Krakoa occupied at the beginning and end of this action. Excuse me. And this is playable at 600, 400, 150, and 70. Obviously, we're looking at the 150 and 70 only. What do you think of Krakoa, Jay?
I don't like 150s because, like, no stealth, doesn't do much, combat values aren't great. I mean, actually, you know what? 150 can call in some pretty scary stuff. Oh, man, there's just so much stuff that's, like, almost good enough in this set. I don't want to say everything's like a maybe, but, like, 70-point retail. I mean, you did well with Carnage at 100, so, like, I'm not going to immediately discount it. Like, being able to retail and then call in, like, Storm for Pulse Wave, like, you really can't argue with that. And I guess making more hindering is good, and at 70, you're guaranteeing yourself stealth no matter what. Mm-hmm. You can't use Poison after, and you don't start off with the Flurry at any point, but I don't know. I can't. This just feels like the power creep set where I can't look at anything in the set and say for 100% nobody will ever look at this. Like, it's an X-Men set. That's what it's gonna be in this game. That's just how the game works.
Yeah. That said, I like the idea of the things in a turn Krakoa can do. Like, it's pretty amazing when you include the idea of ID call-ins. He's got poison. He colossal retaliates. If he happens to have taken a damage via, I don't know, colossal stamina. Do I have Flurry now? That's a shame. Flurry and Steel Energy. What am I going to do with that? It would be interesting if you had Vampire Style Dial where you could go past the starting line, but let's not be greedy, right? But overall, I think he's neat, and I'm definitely going to give him a look, but it's like a not yet sort of situation, like I think Jay was trying to stress there.
I mean, I don't necessarily think that as much as that just feels like every figure in this set.
That's a fair point. Speaking of characters that a lot of people have been talking about and really want to use, let's talk Wendigo.
I like that.
Wendigo has the animal, monster, and mystical keywords. He's got the smell of flesh trait, which gives him sidestep, but only if a character has a wounded token. When an opposing character takes damage from an attack, give that character a wounded token if they don't have one. When a character heals, remove their wounded token. This means anybody can damage them. It's got another trait, Ancient Mystical Curse, Colossal Stamina, because it is a giant. Steel Energy. When Wendigo uses Steel Energy, he may heal past the starting line. I spoke too soon. Special Movement Power. In the mountains, no one hears you scream. Charge, Flurry. When Wendigo ends his movement after resolutions, he may make a close attack, but only to target a character with a wounded token. Indomitable, and his special defense power is a stop click. You cannot escape the Wendigo. Stop invulnerability. If no opposing character has a wounded token, do not stop turning the dial due to stop. If you don't start on the 15-point dial, you're not stopping here unless somebody's got a wounded token, so get some damage in there. This is going to be another 2x2 base. I'm going to stress again, it is a giant. It is playable at 300, 200, 100, or 15 points. Jay, where do you stand on the Wendigo discussion?
I mean, I don't know why we're even... I mean, there is technically a bunch of starting lines that are not the 15-point line, but, like...
Do they matter? No!
I don't know what this game is anymore.
I'm in love with this character, I gotta say.
I mean, of course you would be. Like, just... Like, the keywords are all pretty good. Like, mystical was already good enough. Monster, animal, these are all. I've already been building with it, even though I don't know when I'm actually playing it. Like, I guess fall opens, maybe. But, like, the fact that you can maybe get 4 attacks a turn out of a character, because if you can set it up to charge flurry, that's 2 attacks. You've charged, that's 1 more attack from the wounded token thing. And then a side tip for another. Like, that's, that's obvious for 15 points.
This guy is nuts.
The fact that people are talking about not playing it is just... And even without any of that, the 4 attack thing, like, let's say you just do the normal whatever. So you move up, you give somebody a wounded token, you move up 8, you have giant reach, you punch them, you steal energy, you side tip again, and then, the character has a wounded token, and then they literally have to heal. How common is healing besides, like, there's no healing in this game besides literally the Wolverine ID. And then even then, whatever. So, like, even if you only manage to hit once out of that 2, they have a wounded token, unless they specifically, use the Wolverine ID that particular turn. You have the stop click with invulnerability. You can't get energy exploded to death like most Colossals. It's theme filler for really good keywords. It's a threat no matter what. No indifference of any kind. You just attack. You just, have exploit if you don't want to use flurry for some reason. Like, oh my god.
I'm kind of picturing Giganto Namor standing next to this guy, carry him, quake. You now sidestep, attack.
Yep, that is the play.
Yep. Here's my pocket Wendigo. What? This is gonna be so fun. All right.
And also, or just like try Sentinels, like any number of Colossals, because it's just giant. There's no reason.
Yep.
Yeah, that is worth mentioning specifically. Like, there's no reason why you can't carry. Like, carrying doesn't care about base size anymore.
Yeah.
Like, if you have a colossal sized single base character, they can carry this guy.
Yep.
So. Why did you print this?
Why not?
Oh,
all right.
God.
Let's take it down. Take it down a couple notches. We talk about Morph. Marauders, Assassin, and Spy keyword. Hey, there's that Assassin and Spy keyword again, Jay. How is Morph fit into this? Let's start with this Impersonate trait. Shape change, but succeeds on a 4 to 6. That's not bad. When Morph uses it and succeeds, you may choose a new target, or choose the new target, and may choose a character friendly to the attacking character. Target must otherwise be legal. So they got to be within range or adjacent for close combat, that sort of situation. The next trait, We Thought You Were Dead. Whenever a character is KO'd after resolutions, you may place Morph in a square that character occupied. That's any character, so kind of use that as you will. And the special movement power in its first 2 clicks of 4. Plasticity, Sidestep, and Stealth. 25 points with the Brotherhood team ability. What do you make of this one, Jay?
I mean, I already said how much I love Rusty 25, and you can basically teleport wherever you want. Like, I don't know. We're in a game where everybody's going to automatically have a Leslie Evans, so strategically places your Leslie Evans, pushes himself in a convenient spot, pop Morph. The problem is that there's a lot of stealth busting, or there's just enough stealth busting at Wit as to make his trait just not matter and he gets killed. But, like, I don't know. If there's an environment where Unseen isn't being played specifically, he'll be just annoying enough. And even if he gets killed, he's only 25 points. Yeah. What do you want? Obviously, the prime slot is going to be important when the set becomes legal, but, like, yeah, it's true. Just the fact that Colossus is in this same set, just
at the same point value.
Not even that, because he's an ID that anybody can call on, but, like,
yep.
Darn. Yeah, I don't know. In some limited format where there's no, stuff to get rid of a shape change and no call-ins, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
No Battle Fury. I don't know. No Wendigos getting Battle Fury after hitting with a wounded token.
It's like I was just on Critical Clicks and Scott just kept on saying, "Oh, this figure in Avengers Black Panther is like only the 30th best set in the figure in this set, so it's like best figure in Modern." This is basically this set. Like every figure is good. It's just when you compare it to the stuff within this same set alone, it's like, oh man,
yeah,
it's rough.
All right, moving on. We have Storm. Morlocks, X-Men, and deity keywords. Nature, I command you, bring forth thunder and lightning. That's my worst Storm impression ever. When Storm hits with a range attack, after resolutions, place a lightning marker in each hit target square. She has 2 targets. At the beginning of your turn, and she can get another one with like a reality gem. At the beginning of your turn, choose a lightning marker and an effect. Deal 1 penetrating damage to a character occupying the square with the chosen lightning marker, and then remove that marker, or place the chosen lightning marker in a square next to its current square. So her special movement power gives her sidestep and stealth. She's 75 points. 7 range, 2 targets, the X-Men team ability with some TK on the start. Jay, thoughts?
I mean, once this set becomes legal, basically, you're going to be automatically playing the Storm ID card anyway, and then the Storm you're already calling in is more expensive than this one, so, like, why not have an option? Just because, like, lightning effect will trigger on the turn before she goes away, and it's bounty effect. Both her inspirations are good. That's good enough.
Yeah. I was going to say, as long as they made that, and I wasn't sure if that ruling is stayed, so thank goodness for that. The lightning would work on the next turn, which is cool. They'd have to kind of be stuck there, or a character who's kind of in that position. You don't plan on them moving because it is.
I mean, yeah, or they're just pushed.
Square. What's that?
They're just pushed, and that's when you call her in.
Yeah, exactly. So you're pushed. Zap again. But yeah, I mean, not bad for sealed sort of situation. I think I would say.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. This will be a figure that is seen on Team Worlds for sure.
Yeah. All right. Next up, it's like they stopped liking him. Professor X, Illuminati, Shi'ar, X-Men, and Scientist keyword. First trait: Cerebro enhances my ability to locate mutants and humans alike. Colossal stamina, but only if a character has his influence token. Power: give another character within range an influence token. When Professor X clears, remove all of his influence tokens. Open your mind, absorb what Cerebro has to offer as his next trait. When Professor X uses leadership, characters that have an influence token are considered adjacent. When Professor X uses mind control, incapacitate, penetrating, psychic blast, or outwit, he may target characters with an influence token regardless of line of fire. And then he's got special attack power. Violence will solve nothing. We must try to use our gifts to bring peace to mankind. Incapacitate, but only if a friendly character has been hit this game. Penetrating Psychic Blast, but only if a friendly character has been KO'd by an opponent's attack this game. And then he's got the special damage power on all his clicks. We must not let hate prevail. Leadership, outwit, shape change. 100 points, X-Men team ability, 9 range. Jay, what do you think of Professor X?
I really want, like, a Bizarro format to call him in on an ID card, but, like, the stats are killing me. Like, and the fact that you have to Colossal Stamina get to the... like, I get what they were going for, but it's just... I don't know. It's just, like, a little bit too costly, a little bit... The stats are too low. Like, it's almost there. And it's just a lot to take in. Like, it's just so much to think about what you're going to be doing. It's like, I just don't like the idea of a figure that has, like, 20 different things to do. You know? I'm just looking at, like, as a normal ID card, Colin, I feel bad. I'm just saying hard no, but, like, yikes.
I mean, the build-up on him, you can speed it up by just voluntarily taking the push, and you kind of want that mid-dial stats, but then I'm kind of left with a 3-click Professor X. Which
yeah.
I don't want. And I also don't want to spending 100 points on a character who's got 3 useful clicks late in the dial. And, like, the influence token is cool, but by the time I'm able to give my opponents the influence token, it's too late. So...
What does he do when you give it to a friendly? You can, like, leadership them regardless of adjacency.
You can leadership them regardless of adjacency.
And that's it.
That's about it.
And you can keep on stamina. Okay. Yeah, there's an idea here. It just didn't quite pan out, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Next up, Sebastian Shaw falling into the chase with, what's his name there? Harry Leland. Hellfire Club, politician, and ruler keywords. Inner Circle, Black King, outwit, but only to choose black or special powers. Leadership, but may remove the action token regardless of adjacency. Kinetic energy absorption is his next power. Sebastian Shaw can't be knocked back. And then his last trait there, the more you fight, the stronger I become. When Sebastian Shaw is hit, give him a number of energy tokens equal to the damage dealt to him by that attack. Free, remove any number of energy tokens. This turn, Sebastian Shaw can use the effects listed for that number and lower tokens. So if you remove 1 token, you get willpower. If you remove 2 tokens, you get charge and willpower. If you remove 3 tokens, you get super strength, charge, and willpower. If you remove 4 tokens, you get flurry, super strength, charge, and willpower. Remove 5 tokens, you get +1 to all your stats and flurry, super strength, charge, and willpower. And if you remove 6 tokens, regeneration is free. Modify your combat values by +1. Flurry, super strength, charge, willpower. You got to remember you took 6 damage to get here.
Well, no, it's dealt. Like, if you target him for 3 and whatever, so.
So if he takes 2 on the first one, but you still dealt 3 to him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you get 3. It's like ha 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 ha. And he takes 2, and then he's got charge, super strength, willpower. He still has to take damage. He's still got to take hits hard. I mean, again, Sebastian Shaw is like any Bizarro Dial. Amazing towards the end, but you got to find a way to protect that back end, man, because he's not Psychic Blast proof towards the end. I almost want the Invincible at the back end, to be honest, but then you lose the rollout on it. But then I lose. I can't win with this guy. I want him to be so much more exciting. What's your takeaway here, Jay?
I don't think there's any support that shares a keyword. Oh, it's not even true. There's I think if there is support that shares a keyword, he could be a thing, or just play any random character and give them the healing casket, because that gives support. I think this is another not right now, but I think he's just annoying enough to kill where even if you outwit stuff, like he still has so many different reducers, like he'll be hard enough to kill, and then you have to worry about how many tokens he's going to have, and then all that good stuff. And there's still other ways to heal even without the support. Like, I think he does just enough, and it's just hard enough to kill. He could eventually be a thing. But, like, there's just a thing every team is going to have right now, so it's easy enough to chew through him, but I don't know. I like the idea of him.
Yeah. I'm 100% with you. I like his idea. I always want to have 6 tokens on him. All right, next up, the Red Onslaught. I like this guy a lot for some reason.
Is this the last preview? There's so many previews.
There was some more today, I believe. So.
Oh, from Scott Porter? Oh, gosh.
Oh, no, they were Scott Porter. I'm not doing a Scott Porter. Scott Porter's videos have started this week. Check them out at youtube.com/WizKidsOfficial.
I think WizKids Game? I can't remember.
WizKids Games Official?
I can't remember, but you just look up WizKids.
I looked it up. I actually checked it earlier.
I'm pulling it up.
It is WizKids Official. WizKids Official.
Is it? Okay.
Anyway, so Red Onslaught has Hydra, Skeleton Crew, Ruler, Scientist, and Soldier keywords. He's playable at 600, 300, or 150. He's got this first trait, Sentinels. Free. If an opponent's force has more characters than your force does, generate a Sentinel bystander. You get a maximum of 3 of them at 600 points, a maximum of 2 of them at 300 points, and a maximum of 1 of them at 150 points. The Sentinel, down here, 8 movement, 10 attack, 18 defense with invulnerability. It is indomitable, colossal. It also has outwit. Not bad. Behind the scenes is his next trait. Red Onslaught can't be targeted by opposing characters 5 or more squares away. Then he's got a special movement power, which he has on the last 3 clicks of the 150-point dial, first clicks of the 600-point dial, kind of in there on the 300-point dial. World War Hate, Mind Control, and Sidestep. When Red Onslaught uses Mind Control targeting a single opposing character and hits, for the rest of the game, that character does not have any keywords and can't use team abilities. And then he's got a special damage power on the first 2 clicks of 150, the first click of 300. Omega level, Mastermind, Leadership, Outwit. When Red Onslaught uses Leadership and succeeds, you may also choose an opposing character within range and a standard power. Give the chosen character an action token, and that character can't use the chosen power until your next turn. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on the Red Onslaught?
I just looked it up, and the Ensign Crusher lets you reroll leadership as a scientist. So that's interesting. I think I'll sum it up at 150 as almost good enough. Like even with the trait, I feel like he can still be close attacked or like other stuff. Only making one Sentinel, it's not bad, but like I don't know. Overall, the trait doesn't protect him enough to justify how short the dial is, and even yeah, it's missing like one thing. I don't know what that one thing is. Maybe starting with the sidestep power instead, but like almost there. I guess I'll say.
If there's one thing I would say it's probably missing uh, more clicks, more protection, um, more scientists, more sentinels. I mean, honestly, I think they could up the number of sentinels per dial a little, like maybe one extra per dial, if you ask me. That's my opinion. I don't know. Okay. So that brings us to a Tom Free Cartographer's Corner. That was hcmaps.com, right?
I
No,
believe
I messed that
so.
up.
Yeah, it is HC Maps. I mean, I think you just Google HC Maps, you'll get it.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to just Google it. I want to give it its direct.
I'm sending you the link to the map we're talking.
I got it.
Oh, you got it already.
Yeah. It's hcmaps.net.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. hcmaps.net, which is a wonderful online resource of maps that I just discovered today. Thanks, Jay.
Thanks, Clay.
This is made by Clay over in out west. He plays alongside the Majestics guys. So, all right. So I believe if we do that, nope, I messed this up. It was this. All right, there we go. So, a little bit of Cartographer Corner, and we're talking about the Hanging Island indoor/outdoor map. Now, Jay's probably had a better look at this one than I have for sure. So, if you want to give us the rundown on what we're looking at here.
Yeah.
Why you think? Why it's important. Obviously, everything out there is blue, and that's kind of gonna be relevant. But carry on.
Yeah. Just for full clarity, this is the rock purchasable from this month or last month. I can't remember, but it is a purchasable, so you can go out and buy it. Lucas was playing this at Gen Con. I played this a couple times the other day just to get used to it. A lot of water is just good in theory. Floras are a thing. King Shark is still legal, so he could be a thing eventually. But the main draw is the weird blocking because it is indoor, because it shares a boundary line with indoor. So there's just like an outdoor map, but then it has like this weird section of indoor that you can hide behind. Like it's kind of like Mirror Island, except it's just obviously very different, but like just a lot of water and kind of reformatted. And if you can put some smoke or barriers in that starting area of your opponent somehow, like I guess you just move up unseen. You can like make it really hard for normal walking characters to get past because there's only the one little bridgey area. And just being able to hide your colossals, like behind all that blocking and stuff, and all that stuff is good. Lines of fire are just good enough in some areas, but still restrictive enough. But if for some reason you want outdoor, I guess if you have like a good hypersonicer or something like that to zip around in the room behind the blocking, that sort of thing, and nobody can see past it, even colossals, it can be useful. And if you are playing Cosmic and are playing Floras, obviously, all the water in the world, and they're going to be much less harder to shoot than normal. And the room is just big enough to, like, do stuff in. So, and also it's just generally good to have blocking for if you're playing against, like, a Kobik or an Unseen or that sort of thing. So I think it just does just enough that almost any kind of team will want to use it in some scenarios, I guess. So it's just a good enough overall map.
Mm-hmm. So if I'm using this map, obviously I want 9 times out of 10 it's some kind of a map or a team that's going to be using the water terrain. And like you said, there's going to be enough to kind of slow down, if not stall out, the effectiveness of Kobik and friends. What other teams do you think are going to be like? So what do I, if I keep this in my pocket, let's say, and what teams am I using this against, and what team? Yeah, what team am I using this against if I'm not one of the teams that is using this?
Probably pretty. The skull, I guess, is the main one, just because it completely ruins him. Like, actually, yeah. If you're playing against the skull, who's always off theme, you just completely ruin his efficiency. How everything he does, especially because now with the spectral ring, he just is actually like the idea is to do damage, but now he just can't see anything to actually like. The idea was to have him just be pinging colossals, but if you pick this map, he just can't do it, and then he's just not useless, but he's useless enough that it matters a lot, I guess, is like a big one. What else?
Sorry, just to clarify for some folks who might not quite get that is, if there's a big batch of indoor terrain like this, and I'm trying to shoot from the other side of this, that indoor terrain is going to block if I'm trying to shoot at a colossal?
Yeah, because it is considered to be indoor blocking, and then the only thing that blocks line of fire from for colossals, or drawing line of fire to or from colossals, is indoor blocking.
Yeah.
And other colossals. So because it is indoor blocking, it is going to be a thing, and probably a good map to pull out against somebody who you think is not going to be expecting it or know what it's going to be doing against them. The room area is probably... Actually, I guess if you move up to, like, the squares... Or what are the coordinates here? So, like, H and I 17 or H and I 8.
Yep.
And you have, like, the double barrier... Or you have, like, the free barrier ring and trader to be doing, like, 2 or more a turn of barrier. It's just, like, a really good map to be barrier ring on. Especially once your opponents use up their Cyclopses, because like nothing's going to be able to see through it at all. So that's just theoretically very, very annoying, because that barrier ring is going to be everywhere. And of course, when you're trading it around and getting multiple free squares a turn, like 2 is just enough on this map. So, or I guess if you're playing that team already, and you're playing Gardener, just like kind of hide in that area, and then you have the threat of placing the free barrier or the free smokes. Yes, if you're like placing your characters in like column 8, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have like control of being able to place your hidden terrain markers in over half the map. And if your opponent wants to advance, they have to like go around the room. And if they're not phasing or flying, it's really difficult. Or if they just want to move up, they're just not going to be able to do anything about your barrier. It's going to go down. You're going to do stuff to them. Like it can be very good for a control team in that scenario. Now that I think about it, and the more I look at this map, the more I like it.
Okay, cool. So another map to add to the exciting stuff that's in the metagame right now. It's going into Worlds just around the corner, and there's a lot of maps to take in. And I mean, even myself, I gotta kind of educate myself a little better, because I've been narrowing my focus to like Underground and Amok Time, the 2 extremes of either end. But like, maybe I should be adding some to my collection as far as like what maps I'm gonna use. So I should start looking at that a little more. Anyway, I've dragged on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think the general rule of thumb is 1 very open, 1 not so open, and then something kind of in between.
Yeah. All right, so that's about everything that we've got to cover for this episode, and I don't want to go much longer because we're already running late, and this is recorded. I got to get this uploaded. So, Jay, anything you wanted to add before we ask or deal with the one question that we do have?
No, because I'm way too tired.
All right, awesome. In that case, then, Mr. Chris Stockhouse, I gotta get the stamp. Where's the stamp? It's been so long. we haven't had an official episode in so long because everybody's been gone. There it is. Thanks to Jay again for returning. And Chris, I guess you brought him back too. So he says, the internet is broken because Jay is on, isn't it? As for a question, maybe my friends in the lab can help me out. It's this weird time for me where I have too many ideas and don't know what to actually settle on and practice with leading up to Worlds. Hearing Devin break down how his Canadian Nationals team sounded very stressful for me. Also waiting until the last minute also worked for him. I feel like I'm in a pickle, and I'm generally not a huge fan of most pickles. Well, pickles are delicious. Any advice on where to go from here with a month left? All right. So a couple things that will help. Familiarity with the characters that you plan to play is part of that whole, hey, we've been practicing already, right? So when you're putting together a team, you don't necessarily have to. This is this thing I think I've said a couple times where it's like practice doesn't necessarily have to be with the team you're using. It could be other teams you've played that have included characters, and then you start to put that knowledge base together. This is why Devin's team was able to work, because Devin has tried so many combinations of things because he's active in the game, he's practicing a lot in the game. He's also a very smart kid. I don't know if you've spoken with Devin. He has, like, I used to think Jay knew a lot about this game. And Jay is like short bus special compared to Devin in this game, and that's saying, like, Jay knows a lot about this game, and I don't know where Devin gets what he knows about this game. And I've been playing this game for 15 years, and I know next to nothing compared to both of those guys. So, like, there's a lot. These are two very smart people I'm talking about here, and Devin just is so smart. So don't feel intimidated by the fact that he did it over like all of a second. He does practice. He does kind of keep on top of these things, and he is paying attention a lot. And that's all part of it. It's like he knew what all the characters would do and what he was planning to do with the characters. And that's, I stress so frequently that practice is an important thing, but practice comes in a lot of forms. And just hard practice with your team isn't necessarily it. You know what I mean? So, also... in
addition to all that, I think his play is basically flawless. Like, he just doesn't misplay ever. No. So,
If anybody was to catch Devin in a misplay or in a bad situation, what you missed was a critical miss two movements ago. And that's why Devin looks like he's in a bad place. He didn't misplay. His dice misplayed. And that's the only time I've ever seen things like go wrong for him. And that's another thing that comes from him playing the game so much, is that he knows what he's going to do. And I hope he continues to keep doing that, because that kid is so damn good at this game. So that aside, and we've kind of blown smoke up Devin's butthole. Honestly, you have to have a level of comfort, and if it helps any, keep your figures in somebody else's room, because that's what Devin did to us. Devin's collection was in our room, which was not the room that Devin was staying in Montreal. In fact, Devin and Mike were at a hotel down the street, and he put all of his stuff in our apartment, or in our room, or in our hotel room, and he's like, "Is it okay if I pick this up tomorrow?" Yeah, whatever. And then the next day he's like, "You know what? I'm just gonna grab this in the morning when I come here to play." It's like, what? So yeah, don't keep your stuff in your room. Joking aside, like I said, practice comes in many forms, and not necessarily with your team or building familiarity with your combination of figures, but each individual figure, knowing how they work, you'll understand from there how they'll work in conjunction with another character. Anything you want to add there, Jay?
In this environment, I feel like you at least have the the advantage, or you have to be worried about one team primarily, and if you can deal with that one team, and then deal with the other couple teams that are a thing, you're probably fine. The only problem is there is a straight up counter to that one character, but I think if you can deal with Kobik, like the standard Kobik, and then any sort of offshoots, you're probably fine. And then, just be familiar enough with your team, and have the just make sure you have the proper IDs and other tools to deal with stuff in general and be able to adapt to multiple situations, I guess. Like, I don't know, like a gem bearer who can pick one of 6 infinity gems is probably a good option because they can just do different things on the fly, or ID cards with different options, that sort of thing.
Yeah. All right. So on that note, I want to thank everybody for watching. Obviously, you're watching it live. I want to thank all of our patrons over at patreon.com/marriedwithclicks. I also want to take a second to thank our friends over at majesticccg.com. Check out the Apex Insiders. $3 a month gets you access to some brain dumps in the game, or some of the brain dumps from the best in the game, including very recently, Devin's run-through Canadian Nationals and how he did and what he played and why he came to the decisions that he did. So check that out on majesticccg.com/apex-insiders. On that note, thank you, Jay, for joining us. Thank you guys for watching us. You guys have yourselves a wonderful evening, and Memphis is around the corner. Start understanding how games work, because that all counts as practice, because practice will make your team better. Have a good night, everybody.